Dr. Myers, it's Benjamin Pedigo here reporting in. I just tried to submit a video that was too long and it was taking forever to upload. So long story short, I need to be more succinct. And here's my second take at trying to answer the questions of this module assignment in a more condensed fashion. So let's get right to the point. In what ways has the American education system succeeded in the past 120 so years? I've identified three ways, which I'll elaborate on. The first way is standardization. The second way is opportunity, and thirdly, actualization. I'll get through these quickly. With standardization, I think that it's a big win in American history of education when we had people like Noah Webster who standardized the way our language is written and it is spoken and the definitions, semantics, etc. In short, it's tough to teach something which is not set in stone. It's fruitless. That's a big deal. And we also see that standardization in the McGuffey readers, for instance, having a sort of not a universal, but a standardized textbook. We use a lot of standardized textbooks even today. You think about McGraw-Hill, and just ensuring that students of all different walks of life and all different parts of the world, or in America, are kind of having meeting the same standards generally. That's important. Secondly, we talked about opportunity. I mentioned that earlier. Opportunity of education is super important, and one of my favorite modules was regarding Du Bois and Washington. In short, I think that America has done a good job, maybe not at the rate that we would have liked them to do it, but of making sure that we're fighting for equal opportunity of education. Du Bois did that in a liberal arts way, where he wanted that to happen now, we talked about, and Washington also advocated for the equal opportunity of education, more focused on vocation, and working within the confines of the current system, so to speak. That kind of Washington and his big wins for American education lead me to my third major win for the American education system, which is actualization. And that really is just a silly way. I'm trying to think about this in terms of in what ways does the education system prepare students for the workplace, ensure that they're going to have independence both financially and independence creatively when they graduate or get out of school. And I think that we see that Washington advocated for emphasis on how is this going to apply to getting you a job. I think that's super important. We also see people actualized as individuals through our kind of liberal arts education. We see kind of Renaissance people, cultured people, where they know a thing or two about the world around them. I think that we've done a good job of doing that. And I guess if we're going to look at some of the ways that the education system might have not done so great in the past, or maybe more positively has room to improve in the future, I think that we're still playing catch up, so to speak, in regard to the way teachers are paid. I think that my hypothesis is at least that the pay scale for teachers, either employed by private elementary schools like I am, or even by public schools, I think it's kind of grounded in sort of in a flawed perspective on educators. In short, I think that educators up to this point been predominantly female, and we know that the gender pay gap is a serious issue, and I think that it's still a very lingering thing in the field of education, where I think that teachers were being paid lower than comparable jobs, difficulty-wise and importance-wise, and I hope that changes, and I think that's a problem that needs to be changed. In regard to standardization, I think that there comes a point where that is it's a really important thing, but you don't want things to become too homogenized. And I think that in some ways, some of the curriculum that we deal with is homogenized to the point of hampering creativity of the educator, ultimately stunting their ability or putting a governor on their ability to work creatively and individually with the student, the individual. On that same note, the idea of equal opportunity, incredibly important. Everybody should have equal opportunity of education. That being said, the inclusion movement, I think, is very important, but might have some negative effects on students who are performing at a higher level, who need to be challenged and ultimately need to be in a classroom where they have the individual attention and challenges that they need to really actualize their full potential. I think that might be solved by, in high school we have AP courses. If we could maybe have some sort of specialized courses in elementary school or even middle school, AP courses where students, in short, being long-winded again, but making sure that funds and resources are devoted equally to students of who need to be brought up to the level which their class is performing, and also equally balanced with students who are performing at a level higher than their class. Focus on the individual, in short. And lastly, I think that the education system could improve if educators were more specialized. I see a lot of teachers, and myself even included, who have had a background in education, studying like the common school, how to be an educator, and then being put in a classroom where they're teaching something which is not really their passion. And I think that educators need to be specialized in order to inspire. They need to love their material as much as they possibly can in order to impart that love of their material to the student. I think that also could tie into the wage gap we talked about earlier, where I think that teachers are working incredible hours and also multiple part-time jobs, such as myself, just to get the bills paid, and devoting more resources to teachers and making sure they are specialized, inspired, and well compensated for their effort really would have a tremendous impact on the education system in the future. And that would be an awesome development for everybody, I think. Thank you for listening to my thoughts. Really enjoyed this course, and I'm sorry if I've been rushing this video. I was worried about it not being able to be uploaded. Until next time.